Friends, fellow Americans, I have a message for you, and you may not like it very much. I am not a Republican. Let's start right there. So you can come back to this and you can go, oh, there's nasty Republican. He's a fascist. He's a well, he's a permanent Nazi, and oh, he doesn't like you know my gay thing, and I can't cut off all my pink parts because of him. So I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like mental illness. And you know what? We got a lot of in America. Who knows? I mean, is there something in the food? They put something in the gay ice cream? I don't know what happened, but holy shit. We got a bunch of crazy dipshits, and about half of, well, let's take the number 535, divide by 2. Now, what number does that make? Well, let's not worry about parts, okay? Just round up, down, whatever you want to do. Divide 535 by 2 and ask yourself, how is it that 535 divided by 2 people are so goddamn dumb? And here's the rub. I love that expression. Here's the rub. Somebody, lots of people you know, people you interact with on a daily basis. They're walking around in public. Nobody has made a rule. It's like, if you're this stupid, you can't walk in public anymore. We're going to need a rule like that, though. These these people elected the 535 people. I'll say that once more because I fucked up. Now, I would say this. Everything I do here is ad lib, so I'm just off the top of the head. So if I make a mistake, well, fuck you. You try this. See if you can do this, okay? 535 people divided by 2 have been elected by some of the dumbest dumb shits that have ever lived. Who votes for those people? I tell you what, if my kids voted for those people, I would buy a time machine. I'd go back and I would unfuck my wife. I'm telling you, unfuck. That's a word that should be in the dictionary, and it should be a thing. Everybody should be able to unfuck anybody they fucked if it provided a better outcome for America. Now, if you fucked someone Of course, there are different connotations to that word, right? But I mean, there's actually, it's like, given the way the Democrats are running the country, uh, it's almost a simultaneous application of the worst two possible. Well, no, one of them's not bad. Fucking, I like fucking, but they fucked, and then they fucked. Here we are. Here we are, folks. It's a fucking mess. So anyway, we're all working our way through this now. And the latest thing they're coming up with. So the last time they stole the election by, through the shutdown of the country. Shutdown of the country. Took away all the jobs. Put everybody, they just started sending everybody checks to stay home, and I don't know what they did. I didn't get one of those checks. But it turns out a lot of those. Now this is where it gets a little dicey. Okay, so people on both sides of the aisle took those checks to stay home and not work. Oh my God! Oh, I can't go out there. Oh, we're gonna have to shut down the business because only 99.9889% of people live through having COVID. Oh, I'm so scared that I might be the one in a fucking million people that die from it. Now, had there not been this policy of paying people to stay home and not work, what do you think the response would have been? You think it would have been, oh, I can't go. Oh, wait a minute, I'm broke. I don't have any money. Maybe I'll go to work. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Fucking human nature. You know what? And it's not human nature, it's modern human nature. In my time, you offered me to stay home and offered to pay me not to work, I would have said, that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I don't feel good about that. And I don't really think you should be doing that. Doesn't somebody have to pay for that? Am I one of the people that's going to have to pay for that? You know what? You go ahead and implement this, but we're going to come back and we're going to revisit that. For now, I'm going to go to work because I find my life has meaning when I work. And my initial thought is, who are you? And why are you willing to pay me to not work? We're going to come back and we're going to visit who you are and what your motives are. I'll tell you what, we're going to do that. And if you have some motives, which clearly you do because it doesn't make any sense to pay people not to work, then we're going to fuck with you. How do you like prison food? How you like prison food? You like being behind bars with half a dozen men sticking a cock up your ass? Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I mean, I've met some criminals and they tell me that's what goes on there. But that's what's going to happen to you once sane people take control of Congress back and we do the investigations to find out why you wanted to pay people to not work and shut down the country and make people suffer. Now, clearly, this comes down to an IQ thing. Some of those people on your side of the equation, they just weren't smart enough to understand whatever it is your agenda is. And they just thought, yes, oh, yes, we must keep people home, keep them safe, because 0.001 out of every million people die because of COVID. Yeah, yeah. But you can't blame people for being complete, utter fucking math idiots. I mean, I taught math for 30 years in America, in South Korea, in Japan, and in Mexico. And I will tell you what, America has the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet, at least as far as those countries go. No math. Math? Fucking ask an American to count from 1 to 100. Ask them to recite the alphabet. You're not going to get 100%. You aren't. I don't know how we got here. I really don't. I mean, people will tell you, they'll say, hey, the Democrat policies made, they allowed people to live off of welfare for 16 generations in a row. And now we have, it's like, I don't know, it's if you took a retard and you extracted its brain and then gave it the right to vote, what would you have? That's what we got. We got some of the dumbest fucking people that have ever been allowed to live. There's no way the average Democrat, and I'm talking right now, today, there's no way the average Democrat today would manage to survive in a normally competitive environment. And I'm talking about that in the terms of, or in the context of nature. Survival of the fittest. Oh, can you imagine? And I don't know why Republicans are, 20, 30 IQ points higher than Democrats on average. And I'm not a Republican. I'm a policy guy. Does that work? Okay, let's do that. I don't identify with any party. I never have. But God damn it. These people would not be alive in a normally competitive environment. The survival of the fittest. Are you fucking kidding me? AOC? Oh, shit. I mean, somebody might be using her as a sex slave, or she might be on the Barbie. That's, oh, shit. I could go on and on and on. But these people are not anyone who would be alive in a normal environment. That's the way it is. So let me think. I got some other thoughts about this, but I got off on a tangent there, and it just makes me mad that I even have to talk about this stuff. It's like, clearly, Jesus. You know, and then there's that, right? There's that. I mean, people who aren't dumber than fucking rocks, they clearly see, yeah, oh, yeah. what was the world think? Yeah, yep. As soon as they started printing money, yeah. As soon as we started printing money, the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency. As soon as they started doing that, the dumb shit percentage of the population started increasing immediately. The dumbest motherfuckers to ever walk the planet could survive because of our reserve currency status. And now look where we're at. Now we've created so many. I'd call them subhumans. All right, let's make a cutoff, okay? If you're 30 IQ points lower than the average human, you're subhuman. So now look at that. We got a subhuman population that is so big, and we're supporting it by printing money. That they have enough free time to say, oh, I don't like my penis. I feel like, oh, I'm a woman. Well, what is a woman? Well, I don't know. Yeah. Got a Supreme Court justice. They can't tell you what a woman is. I wonder if she ever masturbates. Hey, you know, take your index finger down there, Miss Supreme Court Justice, and rub that little bump and see what happens. Yeah. Fucking A. We got Supreme Court justices that can't tell us what a woman is. Because she's not a biologist. Oh. And you know, and that's where I get a lot of enjoyment out of the insanity that's going on. It's like, the minute she said that, in a congressional hearing, well, I'm not a biologist. Well, she didn't say it like that. You know, she's a woman. But I'm not a biologist. Oh, she didn't see the catch-22 in that. Oh, Jesus Christ. We're putting people that are so fucking dumb on the Supreme Court that they don't even know they just fucking nailed themselves in an absurd, statement. Oh, I don't know what a woman is because I'm not a biologist. Oh, jeez. Oh, fuck. The absurdity of America right now. You know what? But I wouldn't be really mad about all this if it weren't for the fact that I grew up working hard. I was 12 years old, 12 years old when I got my first paper out. We were poor. We were living at the foot of the San Bernardino Mountains. That fucking wind coming off of the snow blowing down into the San Bernardino Valley. It's made everything colder than a motherfucker. And I didn't own a jacket. That's how poor we were. I didn't own a jacket. So I'm sitting out there at 3 in the morning in my t-shirt. I did have a sweater. My grandmother bought me a sweater. At a thrift shop. At a thrift shop. I'm sitting out there at 3 in the morning and the San Bernardino Sun, forget the name of the newspaper, but anyway, the truck would come by and it'd open up that back, you'd roll that back door open, and they'd throw our bundles of papers out so we could do our little paper boy things. So we'd all sit there and, gathered around 3 in the fucking morning, sometimes 4. We'd fold our papers, put them in our little bags, tie the bags to our bicycles, our Schwinn's with the big handlebars, and then we'd roll off and throw those papers in the cold with only a sweater. Fucking 10 degrees sometimes. Oh, I was a tough kid. But you know what? I wasn't. I was just a kid who was dealing with what, was presented to him. So that's the way it was. I did what I had to do to survive. I'm still doing what I have to do to survive. And now, after all my generation put up with, tough times and so on, now we got a generation of pussies that have never had to work. They get paid to not work. And the rest of us who, you can't erase my work ethic with a fucking chainsaw. Take a grinder to my work ethic. Chainsaw, grinder, belt sander, whatever you want to do. You cannot erase my work ethic. And that's why America was a great place one time. And that's why we're headed for big trouble. Because we got a generation of people that have no fucking idea what it's like to work. Fucking pussies. And you know what? It's not their fault. And as a teacher, I have to remind myself about that oftentimes. I'm no longer a teacher, I'm retired, but you can't blame them, man. They are victims as well as us. But it's different statuses, I don't know, whatever, of victims. And I don't even know. Apparently we can't tell them, guess what? You really have no idea what it's like to work for a living and, have some kind of moral grounding You, yeah, you get about halfway into that sentence, and oh, racist, racist. Oh, you homophobe. Oh my God. I guess this is the way nations fail. I mean, I wonder what the similarities are. You know, between every great nation has failed. It's just a fact in history. You know, and so America was a great nation, and now we're watching it collapse. And so it becomes it becomes an academic exercise to just watch and compare, but you know, think about how past great civilizations have collapsed compared to how America is now collapsing. America, U.S., even Europe. I think Europe is probably, you know, it's going through the same stuff. So it's an academic exercise. If but if not for the fact that we have to live through it. Well, and some of us aren't gonna live through it, and we're surely not gonna come out the other side on some Skittles rainbow. Woo! Everything's nice now. Oh, look at the ride down. Woo hoo hoo! Give me another Skittles. No, it's gonna be decades, centuries, if at all. You know, if at all. Energy scarcity is a real thing, and I won't go into that because that's so controversial. Uh, in dumb circles. But here we are, live on your local television channel. Look at the nation collapse. Watch as people suffer and starve. And look at those people over there, not working, getting paid. So I doubt that, you know, any civilization has collapsed in the manner that this one is right before our eyes. I mean, you have to have quite an infrastructure, financial infrastructure, energy infrastructure, so on and so forth. So this is quite a different collapse, and maybe so that may make it a little hard to recognize. But I think anybody who can count can see that clearly we're in the midst of civilizational collapse, and it's only a matter of time. They can take, you know, Apple and Google and whatever. They can take all those stocks, you know, to the moon. They'll be worth more than the planet. Well, what's the planet worth if everybody's fucking starving to death and can't find a job? And yeah, I wish I had some kind of witty way to end this conversation. I normally, so you have to remember these are all ad lib. I just get on here, and I thank all you guys who've, you know, listen to this stuff and give me positive comments for my ad lib assessments of reality over the last couple of years. But I just don't have anything else to say. Well, I always have something to say. But I just can't think of anything witty to say. except for, oh, go Brandon. You know, if our species, this may be the extinction of a species, but if our species survives this current civilizational collapse, maybe someday there will be books, and the books will have the expression "Go Brandon" in them, and they will it will be regarded as this was the moment. That was it. That was it for them. They elected that guy. Or anyway, that guy was elected via whatever. And that was it. Go, Brandon. Go, Brandon. Go take your civilization down. Oh. And that's all I got to say.